Hi everyone! In this course, you will learn about how to benchmark embedding models on your private data. It is quite challenging to choose a model because there are so many of them, and some companies prefer to either use small open source models that they can run locally or proprietary models. You should also take into consideration the cost of using an embedding model and the resources required to run it. Let me show you a brief introduction on what we are going to do in this course. Embedding models are used to convert text, images, or audio into a dense vector. In this course, we are going to focus on the text modality. If I take this sentence and give it to an embedding model, I will get a dense vector with a fixed size. The size of the vector is not the same across every model. Some will output a dense vector of size 512 and others will go up to 4096. I'm going to show you where to find this information in the next slides. Why do we use embedding models? We use them to build systems like Retrieval Augmented Generation and recommendation systems. The dense vectors that we get from the embedding model capture the meaning of the text. This allows us to build amazing search products. The big question is, how do we choose an embedding model? Because if you do some research, you'll find that you have models from Google, OpenAI, Qwen, and other model creators. Some models are free and open source, while others are proprietary. The answer to this question is benchmarks. There is a leaderboard called MTEB that ranks every embedding model based on their performance on a lot of benchmarks. Let's check it out. Click on this link to open the leaderboard on Hugging Face. On the left navigation drawer, you can see that we can choose if we want to care about models that are multilingual, or here they selected English, but we can select a specific language. By default, multilingual is selected, but you can expand the language specific section to select a language you are interested in. We don't have a lot of languages, but at least we have something to select. If you select French, for example, you will see that the table will be regenerated. We have also an option to select domain-specific benchmarks like coding and others. And if you are interested in other modalities, expand the image section and choose what you want to explore. Even though MTEB started as a benchmark or as a space to rank embedding models that transform only the text, now they support also image embedding models, and this is something that will help you choose a model. Now let me close the navigation drawer, and we have another option to customize the table, and that is done by expanding the customize this benchmark section. As you can see, we have a lot of stuff. By default, we have 1038 languages, 131 tasks, 9 task types, and 20 domains. In my case, I am interested in only retrieval task types, so I will keep just retrieval, instruction retrieval, and STS. Let me do that quickly. There you go. Here are the tasks that I am interested in. Here are the domains. Let's keep all of them. The modality is text. Here we have the 1038 languages. Let's also keep them. And yeah, let's also keep every single task. Now expand the advanced model filters. You will notice that we have the option to select only open source models or only proprietary models, or by default, we have both of them. Here we have the size of the model. By default, they selected greater than 10 billion. But if you are interested in running small models, make sure to click on one of these options. But in my case, I'll keep everything as default. And now let's look at the table. Here we have different tabs. The first one is summary. It shows us the performance of each model on the different tasks that we selected. You can see that here we have retrieval, STS, and instruction retrieval, which are the 3 tasks that I have selected here. The zero-shot column refers to the model's ability to perform a task without any specific training on it, because you can increase the performance of the model just by fine-tuning it on that specific task. But we don't want to do that. We want to see if a model generalizes to different tasks that were not present in the training set. Next, we have the memory column, but it's not appearing. I think I need to decrease the size. Yes, I decreased the size of the page and now I can see it. So this is showing the memory usage in megabytes. And this size is the size required to run the model in full precision. But we will see this in the course. If you don't have, let's say, 28 gigabytes of VRAM, we can do a trick where we quantize the model to reduce the size by a factor of, let's say, 3 or 4. So instead of 28, you will need only 7 gigabytes of VRAM or even less. We will see how to do this in the course. We also have the embedding dimension. This is what I mentioned in the slides. For example, here with the latest Qwen3 embedding model, we can go up to 4096, but other old models may have very small dimension size. And finally, we have the maximum tokens. This is the maximum amount of text that the model can accept. This is in terms of tokens, so you should convert this into text, but 32,000 is a lot. It's a lot of text. And finally, here in these columns, we get the scores on each task. In this case, with the tasks that I selected, the Qwen3 model is beating the other models on every task. If you look at SCS, this is the highest value, the same for retrieval, and the same for the mean. But here, the only task where this model did not perform the best is in this one, instruction retrieval. But if you compare it with the other models, the score is very high. For instance, this Gemini embedding model has just 5.18. Qwen has 10.06, which is really high. Okay, so there are other tabs that you can select. For example, the performance per model size. This is a graph that shows you the accuracy. So here we have the mean of all tasks in relation to the number of parameters. You can see that bigger models tend to give us the highest performance. And if we look at here, you can see that we find the Qwen3 embedding model. And there are other tabs. I'm not going to go in details, but if you want, you can come to this space and check it out. Now you know how to navigate this space. Let's go back to the slides. Now we have an important question. Should we trust these public benchmarks? I'm not sure if you are familiar, but with large language models, every time a new model is dropped, we see that the performance on benchmarks increases dramatically in some cases. And people are skeptical of that performance. Here, in this case, with embedded models, it's a different story. Because we have a lot of benchmarks and all those benchmarks are tailored to specific tasks, if you decide to train a model on, let's say, a number of tasks to be very well, you will find that this model will perform poorly on other unseen tasks, and this will show on the table. So in my case, I selected only 3 tasks, but let's imagine if I have selected 10 or 20, that model will not appear on the top of the leaderboard. So which means that the answer to this question is yes, but if you are still not convinced, you can create your own benchmark. This is exactly what I did at the company where I work currently. I used our private documents to create a dataset that is clean, diverse, and multilingual. After that, I selected a few models that we could use and I benchmarked them against this dataset. And the good thing is that I got the same ranking positions. So in my case, Gemini was beating, I selected 3 models, Gemini and the OpenAI models. And on my datasets, I saw that Gemini was performing better than the OpenAI models. And this is the same thing that we have here. You can see that we have Gemini, but the OpenAI models do not even appear in the top 10 leaderboard. So after creating that benchmark for my company, I wanted to share this technique with you so that you can also perform this if you want, either on your own data or for the company that you work for. In this course, you will learn how to create a golden dataset. I'm going to define this term in the upcoming tutorials. You will also run open source models locally and proprietary models. I will show you how to compute metrics to grade the models. There is a library that we are going to use and that performs statistical tests, which is a really awesome feature. Statistical tests are going to be used to prove if a model is better than another. I'm going to explain this later. After that, we are going to automate some steps in the pipeline. I am not going to automate the whole pipeline because there are some steps where we need to ensure that the quality of the data is very high. And finally, I am going to show you how to generate the tables to compare the models. And this is what I was talking about. These are the 3 models that I compared using the private data set, and you can see that Gemini is beating the OpenAI models. We are going to do the same thing, but I'm also going to include other well-known open source embedding models. You will learn a lot of stuff in this course, and don't worry if you are a beginner. I will go step by step to make sure that everyone benefits from this course.